Phil and Will are back. Big news with the Survivor Second Chance season. People have been going crazy about it this whole time with the nominees finally announced 16 men, 16 women. We're going to get into really who we want, who we don't want, who we think is a shoo-in to get on, who we think is going to struggle, who deserves to be on and really doesn't have that much of a chance. Like I think we can cover all those categories pretty well. But we're going to start off right away with who we think is definitely on this season, no doubt. Not whether or not, I mean, I guess we'll talk about if we want them there. But who do you think 100%? There's no way they're not on this season unless, like, you know, something bad happens.
You want to start with the males?
Yeah, we can go with the males first.
Okay. I think Spencer is number one. I think he's going to be on. There's no way Spencer doesn't get on. I'll go with him number one.
I
think
him
he deserves it, too.
Yeah, I had him at number two, and he's also my number two man that I really want on the season. But at number one, I have Joe because he's fresh in everyone's mind, and he was a huge fan favorite coming off of the most recent season. So
really? I don't know if I would. I feel like people just saw Joe, and there's so many people we haven't seen in so long that you're like, well, I just saw Joe play. Maybe he can come back later. You know,
dude, I showed my mom how to do the CBS Survivor thing, like how to actually vote. And I was showing her how to do it. And the first person she said was, well, you definitely got to vote Joe. And if like a bunch of moms are doing it, every mom is voting Joe before they vote anyone else. Like, I'm serious, man. And then her next one was Spencer. So I kind of based it a little bit off that. But I really feel like because Joe is the most in everyone's mind, I feel like Joe and Spencer are both 100%. Like, it's kind of nitpicking here, but I think they're both 100%. I'm really happy about Spencer. I'm not so happy about Joe being that much of a guarantee because there's some really – the male side I feel like is more stacked with people we've got to know than the female side.
Yeah, I don't mind Joe, though. I feel like he kind of got pegged as a threat just immediately, and there was literally nothing he could really do. But the problem here is that there are so many older players that how does that not happen again with Joe? If he gets back on, I don't think he has a really good chance of winning or any chance, really. Who's going to let Joe make the merge even with this group of players who've all played before, who know what the stakes are, second chances? Who's going to let him make the merge?
Yeah, unless he can work together with people who already have pre-existing hatred. I mean, it seems like Jeff Varner and Kimmy still don't like each other. I don't know how Shane and Terry feel about each other. Maybe they don't like each other. And maybe Joe just kind of finds his way. But I really don't think Joe played that great of a social game, and that's why he went home. I think he played a really good physical game. I think he was always thinking. But he never seemed like he really had a chance to save himself. And I don't really like I didn't like his social game that much.
Yeah, we didn't get to see a lot of it, though, and that doesn't necessarily mean he wasn't trying. And I think it was so even Jen was saying, and pretty much Jen and Haley even said this, like they were gonna vote Joe when he lost immunity first. Like even his closest allies didn't want him going to the end. Like that says something.
Yeah. He's just got to – if Joe gets on this season, he's got to find a way because if he gets on and these other challenge dominators get on, I mean, on the male side, there's some challenge dominators. Terry's dominator.
Terry's still a challenge dominator? I don't think he is.
I think he is.
How do you know?
Because he played, 8 years ago? And he was 45 when he played the first time. And if you look at him now, he doesn't look much different. And Colby, you could see he looked weathered when he played on Heroes versus Villains as compared to All-Stars in the first time he played. Terry doesn't look that much different. Terry looks like he kept in good shape. I think Terry could still come out and do it. And he's 53? Something like that. He's not really that old.
Yeah, but 53 is a lot older than whatever he was, 45.
Yeah, I feel like Terry's still got the mind for it though, but what I'm saying is these other people have all won challenges in their past seasons. And Joe wouldn't be the guy who's just going to win all of them. You know what I mean? If he gets on here.
He could though. He could. That's what I'm because if you look at the people, like I think Savage, he was a pretty good challenge guy.
He was.
And he's older too.
Yeah, he's in his 50s.
And Spencer was just okay. Like Spencer wasn't anything special. Tasha was the challenge queen of that season. Yeah.
So I don't know, but I think Spencer and Joe are two absolute locks. I don't see how they don't get on.
Okay, I think Jeremy is also a lock. not because he's going to get voted for necessarily, but because he's the only black male in the voting, and I think that's like their CBS has votes, right?
No, they don't anymore. See, that's the thing. So I would say Jeremy, if we were looking at this from if CBS had votes, but they changed the terms, and if we were looking at it from they had votes, I would say Jeremy would be on because he's recent in everybody's mind. And I would say that a lot of the old school players were on, but now I'm not as confident in Jeremy because I don't feel like a lot of people they didn't like Jeremy as much as I like Jeremy, but I know a lot of people didn't like Jeremy as much.
I love Jeremy. I really think he deserves to play again. I think he's hilarious. I love his confessionals. He was the only one saying, "Why are we trading all of our shelter for like a little bit of food? The merge is right around the corner. Why are you so happy?" You know, I had a lot of fun with Jeremy. In a season that was so dull, he was like one of the standouts. I liked him a lot better than Josh. Josh was pretty much said he was kind of a game bot a little bit. Like, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to do. Jeremy had a little flavor.
I was the opposite. I like Josh more than Jeremy, but at the same time, I feel like I would like to see Jeremy play with real players because that season he was stuck in a mess, and I would like to see him play with people who have played before and really, really, really know what they're going to do and have a plan going into it. So I would like to see Jeremy play again. I barely have him making my cut to get in, but I guess we'll get into that later. Are there any other men? I guess we did Jeremy. I don't really agree with you that Jeremy's 100%.
No, I don't anymore. Now, I thought CBS could just kind of say this is who we want, but like, well, maybe the last 2 or 3 spots we'll let the fans choose.
No, they took it out in the thing because there was like a big backlash about it, how CBS was just going to put on whoever they wanted. And then they ended up actually going back and changing the terms, saying that it was an oversight. So.
Okay. I mean, now I fear for Jeremy a little bit. Vote Jeremy, please, people. He's fun. I think Shane also has a good shot. He is a huge. I think everyone wants to see Shane play again.
Yeah, Shane's been one of those people that people have been asking for since Panama. Like, they wanted him on Micronesia. They wanted him on Heroes versus Villains. They wanted him even on Blood, not Blood versus Water. Oh, Blood versus Water. They did want him with Boston. They were going to bring him and his son on. So, like, Shane has been one of those people where he's always fit the theme and he's always stayed in the loop. And I feel like for him to get overlooked again, I don't know how good of a game he would play right now. I feel like he would be a character.
Great. I think he'd play great.
I think he could be Havoc, and I don't have a problem with Havoc. I mean, it's the same thing with Cass. I think Cass and Shane, there's your 2 villains, but both of them could still win the game.
I think Shane has kind of grown up a lot, it seems. People have said that he like studies the game and he's really insightful, and I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see Crazy Shane back, but how cool would it be to see someone like Shane come back and win? Like,
that would be unbelievable. That would be awesome.
I want Shane in. I think Shane's got a pretty good shot. Steven Fishbach, you got to think, is going to make it on just because of his podcasting and stuff, and he's really involved with the online community. And, you know, people are voting online. You know, it's a lot of Twitter campaigns, social media, everything there. I think he definitely gets on too.
Yeah, and we just did 4 of them with Joe, Spencer, Shane, and Steven. And I agree those 4 are probably the best, or have 4 of the best chances. And then to round out the top 5, and then I think we move on to the women. But to round out the top 5, if Mike doesn't win this season, Mike is definitely going to be on too.
Yeah, but Mike, we already know Mike won. He has to win.
No spoilers, but we know he won. Like, yeah, we didn't actually get.
He has to. If Mike doesn't win, I will be shocked.
If Mike somehow doesn't win, Mike is a lock to be on the show. So I would say those are the top 5 most likely to get on the show, and that's actually exactly what I wrote down. So,
okay, yeah, all right. Let's go to the women now. Who do we think are just definitely people that are going to get on? I think Cass is probably number 1. Honestly, I think people want to see her play again.
Yeah, I would say Cass is the 100% lock because she's fresh. And out of all the women on this list, other than maybe Sierra, she's the one everybody knows.
Yeah, and even if there are people who hate Cass, and I know there are, you can't like take away any votes. There's no like vote against somebody. You're only voting for people, and I think that really helps Cass. Like it's everyone. There's so many people that want to see her play again. I want to see her play again. Hopefully she tones down her like bitchiness, and because she does have like a strategic mind. She did get to she placed third. She almost could have gotten to the finals if Wu had any sort of a brain, and maybe even made a case for like how Wu didn't play the game at all. It maybe have won. I don't know. Supposedly her edit was actually nice to her. It didn't show her as being as bad as she was, which is unbelievable to believe, but supposedly that's what everyone says. So I think if she tones that down that a bit, I'd love to see her play again.
Yeah, I think Cass is an easy number one. I mean, she's the ultimate villain. Like, she really is. And yeah, I agree with you. I'd like to see her come out and win. And I would say probably also in the top 5, I don't know if the second most likely, but it's Abby Maria. And Abby Maria doesn't know how to tone it down and couldn't come back and win the game. But I think that she's going to be on the season, which kind of hurts me a little bit. I'm not that excited about Abby Maria.
Yeah, I think Abby Maria is probably 2 or 3. She's going to be on the season. I don't know at all. I don't like her attitude. She's funny sometimes, but I want people that are going to win, honestly. And I know people say, well, you have to have people that are going to go crazy and provide entertainment. I think with you get so many players, we'll be entertained by what they do anyway, because there'll be a lot of fun moments. People are going to be going just all out to win this game. And I think that's where the entertainment should come from, not someone just getting ticked off and being rude and yelling and just being annoying, really.
I mean,
I think on a normal season, that's okay. Like there can be 1 or 2 people like that, but when we get to pick our cast, and this is a privilege that we're getting right now, I want spots for people that deserve to come back. One, that they deserve a second chance. Like if they had a second chance, they could win. I don't think Abby Maria has a chance to win if she comes back. And I also think that you can't have someone on that's just wasting a spot, even if it will be entertaining. Even if you think Abby Maria is like the funniest lady, I guess you should vote her if you really think she's the funniest. I mean, but how do you really think that? I don't get the whole Abby Maria fandom thing. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I don't see it.
She was just the villain of a very likable season. I think that's really what happened. I think she was the antagonist.
She was like a older version villain where it's not like she did anything mean or made any huge moves or anything. She was just annoying the whole time.
Yeah.
Like she was kind of like, if you watch like Australia again and people say like Jerry's the original villain, she was just kind of annoying and mean to everyone. It's not like she flipped or like Cass was a villain. I think, like game move wise, like she flipped on her alliance. She was still mean to people, but she at least had some strategy. If you watch Australia, Jerry, it's like she's the villain that we think of. Like Parvati, she was a villain. Like they were like messing with people.
Not so much in Cook Islands.
What Natalie did to Eric was like villainous. You know, it was like deceptive and manipulative and amazing. That's a villain. Just walking around yelling at people and just being pissed off and annoying. Sure, I don't like you. You're an antagonist. I don't say that makes you like a villain.
Yeah, and I think that if you really want somebody who's going to be like a villain and not going to be super annoying and probably could win the game, I think I'd rather go Stephanie Valencia than Abby Maria. Even though Stephanie Valencia, people probably don't remember her worth anything. But, I mean, I'd rather go her than Abby Maria because Stephanie Valencia could easily win the game even though she would be a villain. She's not going to just sit there and curse you up and down. And I feel like if Abby Maria gets on the season, she's going to try to play into her character more. And I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to see her. I'm okay with it, though. I'm at peace with it. She's going to be on this season. I don't see how – there's no way she doesn't get enough votes. People love her for some reason. So I think she's up there. Sierra, just because her season was so recent, she voted for her mom, which really didn't mean anything. She was going home anyway. But people remember that as like this big deal. She did force rocks, the second time in Survivor history that it's gone to rocks, which is awesome. I love the move. I thought it was really fun. Thought it was cool. She's got some balls on her. I would love to see Sierra play again. And she looks like she's matured a lot too, even though that season was only like 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, I really liked Sierra in her thing, and I have her as the second woman I would want in. And I'm happy that she's this much of a guarantee because like that's the type of young girl player that we want to see. I mean, if you look at this list, it's a bunch of young brunettes. Like it really is. Monica, Michaela, Stephanie, Natalie Tenorelli. And we didn't get to see much of them. And then you get somebody like Sierra who played the game so hard as that 20 to 24-year-old girl, and she could grow and easily win the game because she almost did it her first time anyway. And I would really love to see Sierra again.
Yeah, I can't wait to. I think she's a perfect person to have back for second chances type thing. And yeah, she could win too. You can see her winning the game. She's like a single mom, I think. So
yeah.
I think, like her. Well, the thing you said about brunettes, I think Kelly Wigglesworth is going to get on. You didn't mention her in your brunette, but there are a bunch of brunettes. Season 1, is that too early?
Well, real quick, unplug your headphones, plug them back in. But no, Kelly Wigglesworth. I think Kelly Wigglesworth is. I think she's a lock. I have her as a top 5 girl back in. She's the one who I want to see the most, even though I know a lot of people are like, oh, she's not going to play the game. She's just going to come out and kind of be boring and stuff. I still think if you're in that original alliance, you finish second place to Richard Hatch in the first season, she's deserved to come back and play a second time for a really long time. I want to see how she's grown and how she can actually play the game. She comes out and she's a dud. Then she comes out and she's a dud. And sorry, that's a shame. But Kelly Wigglesworth is somebody I really want to see back. And I think a lot of people who watch the show, I brought it up to people who don't even watch anymore, and I'm like, Wigglesworth was on there, and they're like, really? Oh, I loved Wigglesworth, and it's like, some people would bring up Wigglesworth as like, oh, is she on the list? And I'm like, you haven't watched the show since season 2, but people remember Kelly, Richard, Rudy, and Sue. They really do.
Yeah, and she's the only one of those 4 not to have returned yet, so it's time. I think has a great chance of coming back. It depends. We don't really know who's all voting, so it's kind of tough. So if it's like really recent younger fans, then that's where I kind of fear for her a bit. But she should come back. I think like you said, she's just an iconic. She was the first runner-up. She was in the first final tribal council. I want to see her play again. It's been so long. Well, I'm just looking through here. Besides Cass, Sierra, Abby, and Kelly Wigglesworth, I think Tasha has a really good chance just because people really like Tasha and she's so recent.
Dude, I would say number 5 is Shireen. I know a lot of people were annoyed with her, but she got so much sympathy once Will blew up on her that she grew on people. And I think a lot of people are going to vote Shireen, and I think Shireen 90% is on this show. I wouldn't say 100.
I think I agree with you there for sure.
Now what I guess we can kind of do this. Is there any people that you think have absolutely zero chance of getting on?
Carolyn.
Yeah.
I don't think Michaela has a very good chance.
Dude, her video was good, though. If you watched her video was one of the best videos out of all of them.
I watched the video, but I don't think people are basing their votes off the video.
I know.
Much. I just
thought that she was the least awkward. And a lot of the other girls who I was like in between on, they did nothing for me in their videos. And then Michaela's, I was like, oh, she's good. She's actually likable. I would like to watch her again. But I don't think she has a chance to get back on.
Okay. Do you want to talk about people who we don't want to see return? That we whether they deserve it or we think they are. We've kind of given our people that we think are locks. Do you want to get into people that we just don't want to see back? We've seen them already.
Yeah, there's 2 men that I don't want to see back, and I know you don't want to see Troyzan back. I would not mind having Troyzan on the season. The 2 men I do not want to see back are Keith and Brett.
What about Woo?
I have Woo right above them. My thing is with Woo, if he gets back on, I'll be disappointed. But Woo's not going to hog the screen time. Woo could win the game, and Woo was likable. So
Can he win the game, though?
Yeah, I think he can. I think he learned a lot last time. I really do. And I think if he gets back on, it would be a little disappointing with the rest of these people on here, especially if somebody like Savage or Terry or Jeff Varner or even Vetus.
Or Jim Rice. I'm campaigning for him. He's my little logo here just because I think people totally forget him. And I'm not saying he's my number 1 male that I want back, but I feel like he needs the most help right now for someone that I want to see back. And I think you feel the same way for Savage, and that's why you have him there.
Yes. I will keep campaigning for Savage because Savage needs to be on. But
Yeah, I agree.
but Keith and Brad are the only two I really wouldn't want to see because Keith and Brad would hog airtime, and neither of them could win this game. Keith can't win this game. I'm sorry, Keith, but you can't win the game. And
Yeah, I don't want to see Keith.
Brad can never
We,
win.
we had Keith. We saw his whole shtick. He's a nice guy. He's funny, great sound bites, doesn't know the game at all. The season's not for him. It's kind of like we've seen what he's had to offer. I don't really want to see Max come back all that much.
Yeah.
I really season 30. I feel like we just need to. I wouldn't mind not seeing any season 30 people. Even though I like Joe, Max could be interesting. He might learn, but like we just saw him, you know. And even Shireen, like I think she's going to get on because of all the sympathy and she has fans. But it's not like this is going to be the last returning season they do. You know, they could do one in 5 years and they'll still be, 10 seasons from now.
And I guess this is a good time where it's like when I think of a second chance, we haven't had the time to sit here and say, man, Shireen really got screwed. Or, man, Max got screwed. Max really could have came out and he could have won this game. With Savage, he got screwed by something that you cannot prepare for. He got screwed by the Outcast twist. He had no idea it was coming. No idea that just because he was mean to Lil early and she wasn't going to make the merge and he voted her out, no idea that was going to come back to get him voted off the game because she's going to come back in. He deserves a second chance. He played so long ago. And when you actually go back and if you rewatch all the seasons of Survivor, nobody screams, I deserve a second chance more than Andrew Savage because the way he played and the way his tribe came all the way back after being decimated. I mean, they lost the first 3 immunity challenges. And the way they came all the way back just to have Lil come back in the game and vote him off, it was terrible to watch. Like it's horrible. And he deserves another chance to play the game. When I look at somebody like Joe, why does Joe deserve the second chance? Because he got voted off? Like, that's all that happened. He got voted off. He didn't get screwed by a twist. I'd rather see Silas Gaither on this list than Joe, to be honest with you, because Silas got screwed. Like, I want to see second chances, people who deserve to come back because they got either screwed or, like, at least they stood the test of the time. Like, I mean, it's – I don't know. Go.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. Like, Aaron from China, he, like, would deserve a second chance. Like,
Yes.
He kind of got screwed. Like, it's just – he couldn't do anything there. And yeah, again, season 30, we just saw them play. We were talking about this on one of our other podcasts. Imagine if after Heroes vs. Villains, they didn't bring Russell back until now. Like, how awesome would that be? They brought him back just too quick after. I mean, I know he back-to-backed Samoa in Heroes vs. Villains, but then 2 seasons later, it's Redemption Island, and it's.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole like people need to understand that like with the back-to-back and then maybe they take off a year or for season 32 it's something different, and then if season 33 is like a Heroes versus Villains again or something, not saying that it would be, but like if something were to come up where one of these characters fit in theme, you might be seeing the same thing as Russell, the same thing as Boston Rob, the same thing as Coach, the same thing as Ozzy, like although Ozzy was a little more spread out, but still like Cochran. You just get tired of seeing the same thing, you know what I mean, and that could hurt them.
And the great thing is that Survivor is killing it in the ratings. American Idol got canceled today, which has always kind of gone against Survivor. It's so cheap to make. They do 2 seasons a year, literally in 5 years, which is a pretty short amount of time. If you look at Kelly, I mean, that was like 15 years ago. And a third of that time you can go, it'd be 10 seasons in the future. There's going to be another returning seasons. I think season 30, I'm kind of just cool. I don't really care about. I want to bring back people who have like been a part of Survivor for a long time, and not to say that like Joe doesn't deserve it or Max doesn't deserve it. There's more people here that I'd rather see. And talking about getting screwed, I want to see Kelly Wentworth back, just because not that she got totally royally screwed, but we didn't see much of her, and that's kind of another reason why I'd like to see her play. I mean, Sabrina in One World, we saw her whole game until she got to the end. She got to the finals. Kelly Wentworth, she was on like this crazy, weird season, Blood vs. Water. She didn't really play real Survivor. She gets voted off after a tribe swap. She seems like she has a good head on her shoulders. She's a really big fan. And she's blonde. We're going to need another blonde in here.
Yeah, other than Cass, because Cass might be the only blonde on the season. But
Abby Maria is more blonde. Cass is like redhead, almost.
I'm a redhead. Um,
You
I'm
are.
not. I'm not huge on Kelly. I mean, I know you're real big on Kelly. I'm not huge on Kelly.
I'm
I
not that
mean,
huge, but if we're
yeah,
selecting out of these people, like if you look at Stephanie Valencia, Michaela, Monica Padilla, Natalie
Michaela got screwed
Canarelli.
the hardest out of the three of them.
What's that?
Michaela got screwed harder than Kelly Wentworth. Michaela got screwed. Michaela's somebody who deserves a second chance, but at the same point, so does Gina from back in Marquesas. Like I don't think that Michaela really has that good of an argument to get back on the show, but she did get screwed by Brandon Hanch just being a weirdo.
Yeah, a little bit. I get. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
But as far as the women go, the two I really don't want to see are Carolyn and Abby Maria. And after watching Sabrina's video and not really remembering much of Sabrina, I don't want to see Sabrina back. So there's my bottom three for the women.
And Sabrina's in one world. We just need to get rid of the amount of returnees that have already come from that season. It's crazy because that season was
If
terrible.
Sabrina and Troyzan both got on, wouldn't that season would have more returnees in like Australia and Borneo and like maybe even oh my god, I can't even think of it. But like it would have probably the most returnees. It probably more than China. Like
Oh yeah, China hasn't. China had Courtney, James, and Amanda, and I think that's it, right?
is that it? That might be it. You're right.
Yeah. Wait, let's count the one world returnees already. We have Colton, Kat, Monica. Let's see. I'm trying to. Is that it? There's got to be more.
No, that's it for now. But then if Sabrina and Troyzan both get on, that's five. If they ever do a winter season or they find a theme for Kim, she will be playing again.
Right.
So like there's people they just haven't found like a reason to bring Kim back. But I know that I have a feeling Kim will be playing again because people are going to want to see her play with like an All Stars. Like
I
this
think
isn't an All Star season. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. They're setting up for all winners really well. When they made the announcement, no winners allowed to be back. It means they're saving their winners for an all winner season.
Yeah, like Denise. I mean, like Denise and what do you call it? We just said it. Kim. Like the two of them. Like I would love to see both of them play again. But yeah, like they don't fit the theme, and then we get some other people. But I don't want to see five people from One World play. And then the next thing you know, they'll do like Tarzan and Leaf, and you know what I'm saying? Like it was just a bad season. Like let's just forget it happened.
Yeah. I just want to say one thing about the men here real quick. If we look through, I'm going to call out just a few names here. Jim Rice, Jeff Varner, Mike Holloway, Terry Dietz, Savage, Cole Pepper, even Shane. They're all just kind of older dudes, and they're kind of the same age. They're all white. Not that that really matters, but they're all we have a lot of similar guys here. Do you see that? Like they're very similar.
Yeah, that's because back in the earlier seasons, I feel like those were the guys that they were trying to kind of hype up, and now they just all aged because I mean, you can't help that Jeff, Savage, Terry, Shane all played in the first 12 seasons. You know what I mean? So like they're obviously going to get older, and they were already a little bit older then. But like those were the people that like got a lot of screen time back then. Like they just did, and now it's normally the younger guys like Malcolm, Joe. I mean, Mike Holloway, that's different because he's going to win. But you know what I mean? Like Brad, I don't understand why he's a choice. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. There's not much diversity on the men's
Brad
side.
has like zero chance of getting in here. Okay, do we want to try to now take a crack at what we think it's going to be? Get full, and do we know if it's 9 or 10? Is it going to be 18 or 20?
They're telling you to vote for 10, so I'm assuming it's 10.
Okay, that helps. Is that something you want to try doing? Try to predict it?
I'm going to try. Let's do the men first because the women is so hard to predict. I think we should do the men first.
Okay.
All right. We already said Joe, Spencer, Mike, Shane, Steven. I think all five of them are on.
Okay.
I would say after that, I would say Jeff Varner because if you've been looking at Jeff Varner promoting, he's been going insane. Like Jeff Varner's been going absolutely insane. I think he has a really good chance to get on.
But is that a reason for why he's going insane? Because he's so worried he's not going to get on because not that many people remember him.
Yeah, he keeps saying he doesn't want to be one of the bitter six, but he's been making memes and stuff, and like they've been crazy. Like he's had a lot going for him right now, I think.
I think Vitas gets on. He was so recent, and people really like Vitas.
Yeah, I think Vetus and Jeremy both have a good chance. It scares me because I think Troyzan and Keith both have a good chance. I think Keith has a really good chance because he's fresh in everyone's mind, and that terrifies me.
Yeah, I really wouldn't want to see I wouldn't want to see Troyzan either. I think Troyzan's like the most overrated character player. He was all talk on the island, just all talk. And his moment, like this is my island, is like number 3 in the best moments of all
So
time in that
stupid.
in that
But
magazine.
I would say if those are the 10, that would mean somebody Savage, Terry, Wu, Max, Jim, and Brad get left off.
I think Savage gets on. I think because of this theme being second chances, and like you said, no one has a better reason than Savage to get a second chance. I think he makes it. Terry, I'm a little worried about.
Yeah, I'm scared for Terry, and I've wanted to watch Terry play again since Panama. I wanted him back for Micronesia. I wanted him back for even Heroes. Like I've wanted to watch Terry play again. I thought Terry was one of the best storylines the show's had, even though he lost. I think he was one of the best storylines. But I don't think he's campaigned hard enough. I don't think people remember him enough, even though at the time he was the hero on that season because they wanted to see him win and keep winning the challenges and go all the way to the end and win the game and beat the Kasaya Six. I just don't think enough people remember him. And I don't think that he's going to end up – I think he's going to be either 11 or 12 right on the outside looking in.
Okay, so let me just get this straight. I think right now we have 9 that we have. I'm just going to read them. Joe, Spencer, wait, did I say Mike? No.
Yeah, Mike.
Joe, but he's going to win season 30. We have to I feel like we have to make this 10 based on – are you want to do the top 10 voting? I feel like he's going to win the season. It's like a safe to assume almost.
All right, so if Mike wins the season, let's just say Mike wins because Jeff's even been hinting that Mike's going to win the season because like he tweeted out like, "Oh, did we just overlook it? Or did we spoil our own show?" And I think he's kind of being a dick about it. And I think that Mike's going to actually be the winner and he was like, "Oh, see, we just set it up for something." But I think that Mike is not going to be on. So
Right,
there you go.
right.
So
I think it's totally cool to assume that he wins. So we have Joe, Spencer, Shane, Steven, Vitas, Savage, Keith, Jeremy. And that's at 8. So we have 2 more spots.
All right, hang on. So Joe, Spencer, Shane, Steven.
Vitas, Savage, Keith, Jeremy.
And you know what it is though with those 5, like or with the last 4 we just said with Vetus, Savage, Keith, and Jeremy, I could also see any of them being left off.
I don't see Vitas being left off.
I think that we like Vetus more than a lot of people. I don't feel like Vetus
had a lot of fans because he like had a whole like recovery thing. He was like in prison. He was a drug addict, and he like turned his life around. Does yoga. He got pretty far. He was on the tribe with all women, and people thought that was funny. That was season 27, not that long ago. I think Vetus is pretty safe here because only six people aren't going to make it, and I think one of them is already Mike.
And I think Brad would be another.
So that leaves 4 other people, and I don't think Wu is going to get voted back on.
I hope Wu doesn't get voted back on. Not like against Wu here, but I hope Wu doesn't get back on because there's just so many people I would rather see. Like with I guess when we get into the women, I'll kind of like explain my frustration with that list. But with the men, like how could you want Wu on that season over Jim Rice, over Terry, over Vetus, over Savage, over Jeff Varner? Like you can't. You really can't.
Yeah, I don't see it either. I fear for Jim Rice. I don't think he gets on. I think Troyzan does get on just because people remember him. He's a loud, memorable guy. So that puts us at 9 if we throw Troyzan in there, and then it leaves 1 spot.
I would say it goes to Jeff Varner.
You think Jeff is more likely than Terry?
Yeah, I think Jeff Varner's been promoting it and campaigning, and he's from probably the most watched season of the show. I'm pretty sure that's actually a fact. And everybody remembers Australia. And I think Jeff Varner is going to end up getting on, barely sneaking on. But I think that we're going to sit here at the end and see Terry not on, Max not on, Jim not on, Wu, Brad. Those are the 5 that don't get on. And I would like to see Jim and Terry both get on.
Yeah, so this is our official Phil and Will's official prediction for the 10 people. Say it one more time. Joe, Spencer, Shane, Steven, Vita, Savage, Keith, Jeremy, Troyzan, Jeff.
Yeah. And if
There it
I,
is.
and if I could change anything, I would rip out Keith and I would throw in Terry, and then I would rip out
I'd
uh
rip out Troyzan.
yeah, Troyzan.
Throw in Jim.
My thing with Troyzan is I would actually probably rather see Troyzan play again than or not. I'm sorry. I would probably rather see Jim play than either Troyzan or Jeremy. So if Jim got back in over either of them and I got stuck with Troyzan and Jim instead of Jeremy and Keith, so it was Troyzan, Jim, and Terry, I'd be happy with that just because then both Jim and Terry got on.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing about the guys, there are a lot of likable people here. Let's get into the woman now. I think it's a lot harder to do.
It's so hard. It really is. And after my top 5, even after my top 4, I don't care. I hate to say that, but I really like from my 5 to 6 or my 5 to 13, I just like if one of them didn't get on, I'd be like, oh, that's a shame. That kind of sucks. Like there's nobody that's gonna break my heart if they don't get on, unless Wigglesworth, Sierra, Teresa, or
It would break your heart for Teresa not to get on.
no, it wouldn't even break my heart for Teresa not get on. But I'm looking at my list, and that's who I have at number 3. That's how like unlikable, not even unlikable, just unmemorable this cast is. And if Cass didn't get on the show, I really wouldn't be that upset. I want Cass to get on.
I want to see Cass, Sierra. I want to see Tasha too. But let's go through this here. What we think is how this is going to play out. We have Kelly Wigglesworth, Cass, Sierra, Abby, and Shireen as like 5 pretty much locks.
Wig, Sierra, Abby, Shireen, and Cass. Yeah. So out of the other 5, I might say PG's got a real good chance to get on just because she's from probably the most popular season. Not the most viewed, but probably the most popular. Normally, people's favorite season, top 5 on almost like everybody's. Everybody remembers China. Everybody remembers James. Everybody remembers. I feel like people remember PG and they're excited that she's from China.
Yeah, and I feel like she's done a lot of campaigning too. And
Yes.
she has this weird fan base, I think, PG. I don't know. It's like kind of Shireen-like. I get really annoying vibes from both of them, but they seem to have a ton of fans because guys were mean to them.
Yeah, as messed up as that sounds, but I also feel like she gets the
Not that
underdog
it's
vibe.
messed up. I just feel like they appear as like victims.
Yeah, I think she gets the underdog vibe. She
Yeah,
gets the underdog vibe, and people always root for the underdog. It's why everybody liked Terry back in Panama because he was the underdog. You know,
the underdog that kicked ass and had this
Yeah, that
special
just kept
amazing idol.
yeah, that just kept winning. But yeah, everybody roots for the underdog. PG's an underdog, Shireen's an underdog, and I think people like that. I would say PG's pretty much on. I would then say Tasha's probably on because she's very recent
And likable.
and likable. I like Tasha. I would like to see her again because I would like to see her not on the wrong side of the numbers for the entire game. It's kind of how it is with Cass, her, and Spencer. They were always on the wrong side.
Cassian was such a great season. I would love to see all 3, Spencer, Tasha, and Cass back.
Yeah. So Tasha, I think, has a real good chance.
I think Kelly Wentworth.
Just because she did the whole Miss Survivor thing, and people remember her from that.
Right, and we need another blonde.
Yeah, we do. We really do.
When people go in, they don't remember anybody, and you're just clicking like, oh, I really like these 5. Oh, Kelly Wigglesworth. Wow, Cass. Wow, and everyone else kind of just blends together. Like if you're not that big of a fan, Michaela, Stephanie, Natalie Tenorelli, Monica Padilla, they kind of just morph into like a brunette smush ball. And then you see Kelly there, and you're like, oh, I got to throw on at this like lunch.
Yeah. And so Kelly Wentworth, we think. Now, for the last 2, if I had to pick who I wanted, I would say I want Teresa and Kimmy. If I had to say Teresa, Kimmy, I'd rather see Teresa and Kimmy play over PG, Tasha, and Kelly. Maybe not Tasha, but definitely over Abby Maria and over Shireen.
I would see. I think Kimmy has a pretty good shot. I think this goes back to like this is Australia, and it was just, and she had a kind of she ate up a lot of airtime for how short she was there, and I think people do remember her. She's also campaigning pretty hard, so I think we're have at spots 9 and 10 right now. I think one of them goes to Kimmy.
Yeah, and the thing is here, in a perfect world, I tweeted this out the other day. In a perfect world, everybody pre season 18 or from Tocantins forward with Stephen Fishbach, from Tocantins forward, all 9 of them get on the show. That would be perfect to me. Like if all 9 of the earlier people got on, I would be so happy.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a mix though. And there's definitely like, do you think there's a chance they divide these tribes up by old school and new school if the voting works out that way?
Yeah, but I think then everybody would think that the voting was rigged.
No, but you can always like, if you're in new school, old school, there's been 30 seasons. This is the 31st season. You could just say 15 in backward, 16 in forward. That's one way. But then you could always just say, oh, well, you're on 14. We don't have enough people. You're on new school anyway. And just kind of slide that middle thing just back a little bit. So like maybe it's
I would think that
Panama and backward versus everything else.
I would think that if Monica Padilla got on from season 19, it would be season 1 through 19 and then season 20 through 30 as the 2 tribes. Because then you would have, if it worked out that way, you'd have the 10 where it would be Wigglesworth, PG, Kelly, or Kimmy, Teresa, Monica Padilla, who's 19. And then you would have Savage, Terry, Shane. Who else are we looking at?
I guess that'd kind of be like an old versus young type of.
Jeff Garner. It would be an old versus young, but at the same time, you could get Cass isn't young. You know,
right.
like Troyzan's not young. If he were to get on,
is there anyone old school that could be considered young?
Yeah, I mean Kelly Wigglesworth's only 38.
Maybe you could throw Steven in there, Steven Fishbach.
Yeah, Monica Padilla is what, 27, 28, 29, 30, somewhere in there. She's not that old.
Yeah, I'd still see it. It's kind of hard for her to be new school or old school, but we'll see how they do it. I don't think they're going to do that. There is a chance, depending on how the voting goes for this. Okay, so we have right now Kimmy in that 9th spot for the women. There's one more chick is gonna take it. Who do you think it goes to?
God,
I don't know. It's kind of a toss up here.
I would say that the 3 best chances are Sabrina, Teresa, and Stephanie Valencia because everybody remembers now. Like not so much Stephanie Valencia, but now people are starting to remember her from what she did in Redemption Island, which is just side with Russell. But I would say Carolyn has no chance. Natalie Tenorelli, I don't think has a very good chance at all. Monica, I don't think has a good chance. Michaela, I don't think has a good chance. So that's 4, and then out of those other 3.
I think T-Bird, just because, that's Africa, and like people are I feel like people are really going to try to get older people on the show. Not older people, but people from the older seasons.
I feel like in this hipster society now, everybody's just like, yo, remember him? And everybody's like, no, I don't remember him. And it's like, yeah, well, he was the best. And like, I don't feel like I'm really doing that with like Savage and stuff. I mean, obviously they made this list, but like everybody wants to be more knowledgeable than everybody else. And like, I mean, I would rather see the older players too. Like, I don't know. It's just, you hope that people don't get sucked into this whole, well, I never saw them play, so I don't want to vote for them. Because that would suck.
I feel like that could easily happen where we get a lot of One World San Juan del Sur season 30 where the people that are still watching the show, they haven't necessarily been watching since season 2, haven't been watching since season 3. These old people come up, and it's not like you can't really blame them. Like, what if a 15-year-old is watching Survivor and is a huge fan? I actually know an 8th grader. He loves Survivor. I hate to say it, he was a John Mish fan. But, I mean, he was, I think, 13 at the time. Like, can you really blame these kids going on Twitter and they're all over the internet? They're gonna throw votes to the people they know and they want to see again. And I would not be shocked at all if it's totally favored towards the new school people.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be, and that's what scares me. That's why I think Terry's got no chance. I still fear for Savage, and I will just keep on saying, go Savage, go Savage, go Savage, because Savage is probably the number one person I want to see on the season. Between him and Spencer, but I don't fear for Spencer. Spencer's going to get on the season. So Savage is the number one person I want to see play again. He's from what is normally considered, I know I just said this with PG, but Pearl Islands is actually normally considered the best season of the show. Like, it really is. It had Rupert, it had Fairplay, it had Sandra. And what everybody forgets is Andrew Savage is what made that season so freaking good pre-merge. It was him versus Rupert the whole time. Like, everybody forgets that.
Yeah, it was one of the best. Yeah, and I that's what I'm saying here basically is people don't remember that. Even people who watched it don't remember that. And there's people who haven't even seen it. I feel like that's where a lot of votes are going to be coming from, people that just haven't seen those seasons. I'm going to be voting more for older players just because I think they deserve it more. I think these season 30 players are going to have chances to come back where, like, if Savage or Terry doesn't get on this season, they're not coming back ever.
No.
You know, if Joe doesn't make it on this season, he'll have plenty of chances. He's like 24 years old and everyone still remembers him.
Yeah, and that's what kind of hurts me here is it's like I just watched Australia recently, like maybe 2-3 months ago. I never thought that I would ever see Jeff Varner have another chance to play. And while I'm watching that season, I was dying. I thought he was hysterical. He was probably my favorite one going into the merge. I liked him more than Colby, and I never thought that would happen. When I remember that season, I always remember just rooting for Colby. I liked Jeff more than Colby. And when they brought his name up, I'm like, I never in a million years thought that Jeff Varner would ever get another chance to play. And this really is his last chance. This is Savage's last chance. Once Terry and Shane weren't on by the Heroes versus Villains stage, and then when they were doing like the random person with Penner and Russell Swan and all that stuff, once they weren't on any of those seasons, I was like, we're never going to see them. It's been 18 seasons, you know, but I want to now. Now I'm fiending for it. Like, I want to see what they can do now.
Right. I guess we'll fill in T-Bird for that last spot. I don't know what else really to do. I think she stands out from all the other people. Do you want to campaign for some people right now? We just get some people that have either contacted us or people that we just that we think need help that we want to see on. And then we have some comments that we should read and address and get to those as well.
Yeah. I guess it's just the older. It's the older right now. And I would say Kimmy and Jeff Varner. You got to remember, Kimmy ended Jeff's game after Jeff ended Kimmy's game. And, like, they still feud over. Like, I was listening to Jeff Varner. Like, he said that, like, he saw Kimmy come into casting. And, like, he was so upset that Kimmy was there. And, like, Kimmy wasn't happy to see him either. But both of them would be hugely entertaining. You got to remember, we're not just looking for great players. We're also looking for entertainment. But I want a good mix of it. Keith is not a mix. Keith is an entertainment. He's not a good player. I want to see both. And Jeff Varner and Kimmy could be both. Kimmy, I think, realized 15 years ago, 14 years ago, whatever it was, she opened her mouth too much. She talked way too much about the chickens and all that, and she was on a tribe with Alicia. Like, you know, and Alicia was just going to blow up on her. So I would say Kimmy and Jeff Varner, like, let's get them back on. Like, I think that they both really deserve to be back on, and I think they'd both be great TV. And if one of them's a bust, one of them's a bust. But there's invisible people on every season. Courtney Yates was a bust on Heroes versus Villains. That's really all you need to say. Like, anyone can be a bust.
Right. I'm gonna throw I'm just gonna say Jim Rice. I feel like he kind of got screwed. I mean, not totally screwed. I mean, Cochran flipped on him. He was a fun person to watch on a really dead, dull season. He made that season kind of okay. This is South Pacific if you blocked it from your memory, which many of you probably have. And he knew the game. He was insightful. He kind of had a little edge to him. He's a marijuana. He works for like a dispensary or owns a marijuana company legally, and it'd be cool to get someone like that out there. I know he was trying to promote a campaign for himself on like marijuana advocacy groups. They're saying, "Look, I'm your guy. I'll take it over for you." I think that's hilarious. I think he's someone that like he fits really well with the second chance theme, and we didn't get to see him, really fully fleshed out on his season. I'm trying to think of someone else that needs help. Maybe Jeremy needs a little help, but I feel like he's okay because he's so recent. I'm with you on Kimmy and Jeff. They, throw votes their way. I like T-Bird a lot. I think Wigglesworth is fine. I guess Natalie Tannerella will be the only person I'll just say. She was 19 when she played her first time. She made it to the end. I think she's grown up. I know it's only been, I think it's been 4 years since then. You grow a lot from 19 to 23. It's a big change. And don't just write her off because she made it to the end. I think she's a different person now, and she could have a really good redemption story.
Yeah. I guess the last one I'll really throw it at is Terry. Because if you go back and watch Panama, the Kasaya 6 was great, but the only reason the Kasaya 6 was so great was because Terry was causing absolute hell for them. Like, he caused absolute hell for them. They wanted him gone as soon as they merged, and instead they got rid of Nick, Sally, Austin, and then it was like, okay, now let's get rid of Terry. And Bruce got sick. Courtney got voted out. Shane got voted out. Terry had the idol that he could play at Final Four when he finally lost immunity to Aris with the classic call the Wambulance. And my whole thing is, on a season where you've had 3 of the top 5 come back, and the other 2 that haven't come back at the time were probably the 2 most popular. You can make the argument for Suri, I get that. But Terry and Shane were the 2 most popular people on that season. And we've seen Aris, Danielle, and Suri all come back. I mean, how have Terry and Shane never found their way back on here? And, I mean, Shane, he's crazy. Everybody remembers him. He's loud in your face. Terry was level-headed. Terry went out. He won the challenges. He would never give his immunity idol to any of his tribe mates. He couldn't turn the game. But this was back when it was impossible to turn the game. It was kind of just in that situation where it was really hard to get people to start flipping. But he caused enough havoc, got all the way to the Final 3, stood on a freaking thing in the water, and because he's older and doesn't have balance, and Danielle weighs like 40 pounds and was standing there in the thing, she wins the challenge. And Aris and Terry had a great, they were butting heads the whole time, and it was fantastic to watch. We've seen Aris, we've seen Danielle, we've seen Suri. Let's see Shane and Terry now.
Right, I want to see Shane and Terry back together. I want to see Vitas there because, Vitas is his brother. There could be interesting things, going on with that. I'm all for Terry as well. Okay, let's get to some comments here. Jimmy O has his ideal cast. Start with the females. Sierra, Cass, Monica, PG, Tasha, Kelly, Kimmy, Shireen, T-Bird, Kelly. That is awfully close to what we have. I think Monica, we really haven't talked much about Monica. I think she would do great on another season. I think she'd be fun to watch. I wouldn't mind if she were on it. I think I'm not really advocating for her because I don't really care all that much if she gets on or not. I'm very indifferent about her. But I also think her chances are really low, and that's why we haven't talked about her that much.
Yeah, I think with it's the classic Survivor argument, how Jeff loves alpha males and all that stuff, and the men get such better edits. I think that's kind of what happened in this situation, where I really remember the men more than the women. And, I've watched every season twice. And with somebody like Monica, it's not going to kill me if she doesn't get on. I think she could be a good player, but it's not going to kill me. When I watched Michaela's video, I was like, oh, man, Michaela's cool, but it's not going to kill me if Michaela doesn't get on. So I don't want to sit here and start campaigning for her when I'd rather see somebody like Kimmy, T-Bird, PG, Terry, Jeff, Savage. Like those are the people I want to see. I will be so disappointed if they're not on. With those types of people, I wouldn't be that disappointed.
Okay, I hear you. We got that was awfully close to our prediction too. So good job for Jimmy. You might get your ideal cast. For the males, Jeremy, Shane, Steven, Jeff, Terry, Joe, Max, Spencer, Savage, Vitas. Pretty much agree there, except for Max. Other than that, though, that sounds like a pretty good group.
Yeah, I would say replace. I don't even know who you'd replace. I'd probably replace Max with Jim Rice. But the thing with Max is, like he said, replace him with Mike if Mike loses. I think Max could have a good storyline his second time around. But I think we saw this time, he loves the game, but he was there for the attention. He really was. He wanted to be the center of attention. And
I hate how he keeps posting and saying, I got voted out for loving Survivor. His video said they voted me out for loving Survivor. No, you got voted out because you're annoying. That's it. People couldn't stand living with you on an island for that long. They wanted to vote you out because you were annoying. You can love Survivor. You don't have to be annoying about it. And I feel like he hasn't even admitted like his failure. That is, he got voted out pre-merge for being annoying. Nothing about challenges, nothing about being a threat, nothing like that. You got voted out for having a poor social game.
They kept Shireen over him.
Right. I don't think I don't know why we need to see him again. If he had realized his mistake and come out and said, "Wow, yeah, I need to keep my mouth shut more," I haven't heard him say that at all. He's just said, "Yeah, they didn't really want to talk Survivor. I guess I was talking too much, and they thought I was a threat because I knew everything." I don't think that's what it was. Like maybe a little bit, but I think it was mainly because of how annoying he is.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I guess I would rather see Jim. I would even rather see Troyzan. I know you hate Troyzan. I would rather see Troyzan than Max.
I don't hate Troyzan, but it's kind of a way. He's not gonna. He could have done, made some moves on this. He really did nothing. If you rewatch One World, which I have done, and it was miserable. I don't know why I put myself through that. He didn't really do much.
What killed him so bad was Jay, and Jay was so stupid. And when Jay, that one time when he
male tribe, that was like the dumbest tribe we've ever had, I think.
Probably. And the thing is, when Jim tried to make that move, or I'm sorry, when Troyzan tried to make that move to play his idol, and he saw it coming, and he was like, "I'm going to play my idol tonight, Jay." And Jay's like, "Hey, Kim, did you hear what happened?" And he gets himself voted out. Like, it doesn't help that he was playing with complete buffoons. I wouldn't care if Troyzan made it. I wouldn't be upset. If Keith made it, I'd be a little upset. Troyzan can be entertaining, but he can also play. A little bit he can play. Keith can't play. I'm sorry, Keith. He cannot play.
It wouldn't be upset that I'm seeing Troyzan. I would be upset that he's taking someone else that's more deserving. It wouldn't be like,
if
oh my God.
If he took Terry's spot or Savage's spot, I would be upset.
That's what's probably going to happen too, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, we have Camden Ewan. I think no way Mike wins. I don't know what season you've been watching then. I think there's no way Mike doesn't win.
Yeah.
He also says, I think if Keith makes it, which I want, keep it entertaining and not 20 strategists screwing each other over. I kind of see where he's coming from there. And I said that earlier we have a lot of the same people. They're kind of just older dudes who are fairly strategic and pretty good at challenges. I get what he's saying there. It's still Keith, though. I guess I'd rather have Wu even or Troyzan over Keith. And then, yeah, none of your business reply to that saying Keith sucks so badly. I feel like he doesn't care at all about the game. And then Camden Ewan says, you got to realize that he's a great guy and he's really entertaining. I see both arguments. I agree with none of your business because you can be entertaining and good at the game and care about the game at the same time. And there are people here that you can vote in that do that.
Jeff Varner. He was the most sarcastic. He was such a prick, but he was so funny and he was entertaining and he was great TV. And he just happened to go at number 10 right before the jury, and he disappears. But he's great. He was great TV, and he also knew exactly how to play the game. Scoopin doesn't fall in the fire. Who knows what happens? But him and Jeff could have been sitting there at the final two, and people could have forgotten who Colby was.
Yeah, that's true. I want to see Jeff back. All right, you want to take the next one?
Well,
or do you not have it up?
I have it. Mudkip says, why was Brad even a choice? I honestly could not tell you. It's terrible. None of your business. His ideal. Mike, Steven, Jeremy, Max, Spencer, Joe, Vetus, Terry, Shane, Jim.
That's it right there. I think Mike wins, and then you throw in, who's he missing? Savage. Place Mike with Savage, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I don't think Max is going to get on, though.
Oh, Max, who's missing? Whatever.
My thing with that one is that's almost kind of exactly what we just said. That's Max from season 30. Okay, Steven's from 18. Jeremy's from 29. Mike's from 30. Spencer's from 28. Joe's from 30. Vetus is from 27. And then you have Terry, Shane, and Jim. So there's only 4 older players, and even Jim was in the 20s. So really all he has is Terry, Shane, and Steven. That's kind of what I'm scared about. So
yeah. We don't need to read, I guess, we don't need to read through everyone's ideal cast. I just kind of taking, I don't know, takes a while, but there are comments there for you to read if you want to look at other people's thoughts. Steel Punch says, what if a tribe had Kelly, Jeremy, Keith, Wu, Spencer, Cass, Taja? That would be all San Juan del Sur or Cagayan. I don't think they put them on the same tribe, but because those seasons are so recent and that's kind of what people remember right now, that those players could all get voted in.
Yeah, what I'm scared of is almost like a Caramoan situation where you had so many people from like Redemption Island, South Pacific, and that was it, right? Was that it? Yeah, whatever. But I'm scared of a situation like that where you get a lot of people from those, like from 2 seasons.
There's
and
Nicaragua
it ends up,
in there. Brenda.
Only Brenda. It was no, because if you remember, Brenda, Eric, and Malcolm were all and Corinne were all kind of on the outside while the other 6 were playing their game, and lucky they had Francesca as a buffer. But it was weird because there were so many people from 2 seasons. You had Dawn, Cochran, Phillip, Francesca, Andrea. Like, that's 5 people. Like,
yeah, that's too much. Too much.
And I don't want to see that this time. Like, that's what I'm a little scared of with that. I think that the Cagayan people have a really good chance of getting on, and if they do, I think they're going to split them up. I think that what I would love to see happen would be if this season started off with a schoolyard pick'em, or if they drew rocks for the tribes. Like, if it was something like that, because instead of like letting it set up, I think that that's how they should do it. That would be my ideal.
I would love that. That'd be cool. I doubt, because they pick what they wear. They try to pick based on who's matched up with who, different rivalries. So I would like to see that. I doubt it's going to happen. Okay. Cool. Camden Ewan again says, lol for the woman. I voted for 5, then voted for the hot ones. I think that's why Tannerelli and Kelly Wentworth have a pretty good shot to get in that way. I think people will honestly vote like that. A lot of people.
Yeah. And Steel Punch real quick. We got to say this one. Go Keith. I'll treat him like Dan from Worlds Apart. So if that's not enough reason to vote for Keith, as much as I don't want Keith on the show, I mean, that kind of is a reason.
We've had enough Steel Punch rooting for someone who can't win already.
Proud nurse. Vote for Max, Shireen, PG, Jeff, Mike. I'm a mom and I'm not voting for Joe. Okay.
And then she says, Will has a man crush on Joe. I have a man crush on way more people above Joe. Joe's a good guy, but I'd rather see Savage. I got a bigger man crush on Savage.
Is that weird? Yeah. Like, I'm in love with Savage. No. I'm in love with Terry. Like, those are the people. And Jeff Varner, he won my heart.
And then Proud Nurse says, yes, CBS has votes. They didn't change the terms. They just removed the terms. What is going on with this? Either way,
here's what happened. They put on there.
It's so hard to believe that they're not going to have any say in this.
That's why I don't think they're ever going to reveal who had the votes. And if they do tell you the percentages, I doubt we're going to get a very accurate thing. And I think they're still going to put on whoever the hell they want. Although I think that what's going to happen is if they had somebody at like 11, but they got so many more votes than they expected, I could see them jumping whoever they thought should be on the cast. Like, I think that we're going to have a little bit of pull. But I don't think that like Kelly Wigglesworth, she's not going to be sitting on the wrong side of this cast. She's not going to be sitting off this cast. Like, CBS wants her back. There's no way. If that happens, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, I'm at a loss for words really with the CBS thing. I haven't been following it as closely. It seems like it said CBS has votes, but then we're voting them in. It's America's vote. It's just such a mess. It's so hard to imagine them not kind of picking and choosing who they want and just having this kind of be a big hype thing. It's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah.
Or they have like their top 8 and then the last few spots they're like, they're kind of up for grabs.
Yeah. Steel Punch put up people they missed. Bruce from Panama, Rick from South Pacific, no. Kenny from Gabon, that's probably our biggest one.
They missed the whole Gabon cast. I mean,
they did.
We could do a whole podcast on people they missed. It's unbelievable.
We really could. I mean, we did our one-time players draft that one time with no winners, and like, there's a lot of people they missed. They really did.
No one from Guatemala has even been asked for the newbies on Guatemala. There's been no returnees from that season.
Ever, which is crazy. I wanted Kelly Wigglesworth till I listened to her interview with Rob C. That was Proud Nurse. Yeah, I heard about that a lot. Supposedly she had a terrible interview with Rob C., which I didn't see, but supposedly it was horrible.
I didn't see that. I've been watching a couple of them, but they're pretty long. They're like 45 minutes each, or at least a half hour.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
I'll probably get to them at some point. We can also do another update. I know Rob is doing exit polls as well. So if you don't know about that, go to it's like Rob has a website, exit polls or something. I don't know exactly, but then we can get a better idea of percentages. 'Cause it'd be so funny if like the exit polls are just drastically different from who gets on.
Yeah. Yeah. Fiery Zach attack. I honestly don't think Savage will make it. Varner, Jim, and Terry all have been more active campaigns, and Wu, Keith, and Max are all more recent. All 7 of them are borderline, but I think Savage is the worst chance of all of them. I think Terry has the worst chance out of all of them. I think that Savage has been campaigning pretty well, and even though Savage isn't doing it, Rhino from that season, like his biggest ally, he's been campaigning so hard for Savage. So I think Savage actually has an all right chance.
And he just fits so well with the theme of second chances. He totally got screwed like more than any other player. I think that will help him a little bit. People, may remember that. If not, it wouldn't be that shocking to see Savage miss out on this season.
Yeah. None of your business. But guys, about the schoolyard pick, and remember Gabon, it didn't turn out even at all. But Gabon is your
people
top.
have seen everyone play now. Those were all newbies.
And there's really no way to make these super uneven unless the older guys really are arthritic and falling apart. That's the only way to really make it uneven. So,
all right, we have Lucas Real. I'm a total supporter of Stephanie Valencia. I think she definitely deserves a second chance to play without Russell, whom she originally aligned with in the first 5 seconds because she knew his game and how he would play it. She got screwed by her tribe being actually smart and voting off Russell immediately. I don't know if it's getting screwed over by your tribe being smart. I don't know if that really works. Steph shows strategy. I'm pretty sure she would play a much better game. I think she would play a better game. I wouldn't mind seeing her. I think I like her aggression, her feistiness. She's there to play. She's not going to just sit around and do nothing, which we see way too much. So I'm okay with Stephanie coming back. Those bottom 5 women are tough. I don't really know. I don't have a definite. When I go and vote for these players once a day, I do the same 10 men every time. And then when it comes to women, I have 8 that I always do, and then the last 2 are kind of I always go, I forget who I really want.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am with the women. I vote for this. I vote for the first 4, the first 4 women on the list, and then after that, I vote for Tasha, Cass, Sierra, and then I really don't know who the other 3 I want back on the show are. So,
all right, okay. Well, thank you for watching. We'll probably do an update at some point just to check in. So if you want to leave more comments, maybe we'll get to them. We're going to do, I think, prediction for there is still a season 30 going on. I know everyone's kind of forgot, but there is a current season of the show airing, and it's at Final 6. So talk about that a little bit too. We'll probably do those predictions tomorrow at some point, I guess.
Yeah, we'll try to. Yeah, we'll definitely try to fit it in because we still want to talk about season 30. It's not a bad season, guys. It's really not. You're going to look back on it and be like, that wasn't that bad. It just got overshadowed by the craziness that's happening right now and the fact that the boot order wasn't as what everybody wanted.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll see you hopefully tomorrow. If not, we'll do our recap on Wednesday after I guess that's the 13th episode. Only 2 episodes left. This week's on the finale. So exciting stuff going on. So thanks for watching.